The Pagal outdid itself for every extra kilometer that I walked to the marshlands. And beyond that, it gave me the first inkling of the true intensity of the Changtang's cold. A stream frozen so solid, it could bear the weight of an entire herd of yak. Now each of these animals, mind you, weigh in at about 300 kilograms. So you can quite understand my excitement the first time around when I knew that the Pangong Tso lay just 4 or maybe 5 bends from this exact spot. But as first impressions go, the Pangong didn't impress. Despite that cold, the lake was largely liquid, with just a few tendrils of ice on its surface. That evening when I was camping on the banks of this lake, I was fervently praying for one Changpa legend to hold at least one grain of truth. The Changpas say that none of the lakes in Ladakh freeze gradually in winter. They do so suddenly, overnight. And true to form, this is what the lake looked like early the next morning. All blue, all frozen. In the 6 years that I have been visiting the Pangong, I have seen such wonders. You would brush it all off as fiction if I didn't show you photographs to support my story. This, for instance, is a graveyard of waves. Waves that were frozen mid-motion on the Pangong Tso, broken by the wind, dragged across the surface of the lake and deposited in this one corner. These waves look pretty even when they are on the surface of the lake actually. They stand out like ridges, stretching all the way to the horizon, marking that last line of impact between ice and water. But if you think this is pretty, just look at how they transform when they catch the first glint of sun. These are the grand beauties on the Pangong. But from where I was standing, there was beauty everywhere, even under my feet. Bizarre patterns under the frozen surface of the lake. In all these years that I have been visiting the Pangong, I have seen it through the stretch of this winter season, from the onset of winter to its retreat. And yet, I remain confused as to when this lake looks its best. Through the freeze, like you've seen, or during the thaw. Beyond the Pangong, it's the sandy Changtang all over again, with the winds sweeping away all the snow from the valley floors. All the snow, though, is deposited either on the approach to passes or on the passes themselves, which makes the journey tedious, boring, and monotonous. Today, we don't need to suffer all that. So we'll fast forward 6 days across the Sagala and the Polokongkhola to my first view of the Sokar, a bland slate of white. It would take me some time to realize that the Sokar was actually one of those lakes that prefer to reserve its secrets for the patient traveler. Crossing over to the other side, the Sokar is completely transformed. The marshes that surround this lake, from where this image has been taken, are very dangerous in summer. They are wobbly like quicksand, and they can't bear the weight of man or beast. But like so many miracles that happen in Ladakh in winter, these marshlands harden to provide the last stashes of fodder to the animals in this area at the time when they need it most. But the Sokar is not just about the marshlands. This was also the lake from where the Changpas collected salt in the days of the Bata. Today, these salt flats have very little use other than masquerading as ice in winter.